Hey everybody, welcome to the Green Architects Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Chris Briley.
And I'm your host, Phil Kaplan. Hey, Chris.
Hey Phil, how's it going?
I'm laughing already.
Yeah, oh that's good, that's good. We've been here a while. Before we even hit play, we often, Phil gets us sushi, we talk about what we're gonna do, and then
we pour an excellent drink.
Yes, and we usually talk about what we're gonna be talking about.
House burping.
House burping.
Which is kind of one of the reasons I'm laughing, because it's kind of funny, right?
It's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And well, here, first, cheers, bud.
Cheers.
We'll do this. We'll talk about the drink.
And then we'll come back around to talk about why we're talking about house burping.
Yeah, it's because everybody else is talking about house burping, and
Yeah.
I feel like we got to get in there and kind of talk about house burping and stop at TikTok or whatever. And I was told this is a real trend on TikTok, which you watch all the time.
No, is that some sort of app on the phone?
It's on the interwebs.
Yes,
yes. If you go to World Wide Web, .tiktok.com. I don't actually do it.
No, you don't.
I'm just like,
you actually don't do that.
No, I don't. No. So like, hey, fun fact, everyone, we suck at social media. So if it weren't for our associations with other people like the BS and Beer show, and
you would never see us.
IMW, they're great marketing people, whatever. You'd have no idea what we look like because we wouldn't be in video, we wouldn't be whatever. So, but I'm told TikTok is all a buzz about.
Yeah, TikTok. But the thing that I think brought it to the attention of like us and more people like us, where I started getting around back to me, is when it came out in the New York Times.
Right.
And then people are like, "Oh, okay, we should pay attention. This must be a thing."
That's when the trend has hit its peak, and it's about to descend. So by the time this airs, everyone's gonna be like, "That was so
stupid.
old."
But we figured we'd jump on it right now and beat back some of the things that are getting thrown out in the world, because house burping is a thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily building science either.
Exactly.
So let's talk about our drinks, and then we'll come back to
and
burping.
we had a.
Are these drinks going to make us burp?
Not like we almost did a French 75. Maybe we'll do that next time.
Right.
Because it had fizz.
Bubbly
to make it burp. But we kind of already had this going on for the next podcast. And this is a Scorched Earth. So cheers, Phil.
Cheers.
You've already done that.
So Scorched Earth.
It's
a delicious drink.
It really is.
It's boozy and yummy and
do this. So like if you like a Negroni, basically this is a Negroni.
Yeah.
It's one of those equal parts cocktails.
That's right.
So instead of being gin based, this is mezcal based. So if you're one of those people who loves mezcal, you'll love this drink. You probably already know about it. If you're a type of person who hates mezcal, you know what? Give this a go. This might be your gateway drink into, if you like Negronis and you're like, but I don't like mezcal, give this a go. So you've got one part mezcal, and we're using the Vida. A lot of bars like the Vida, I think, because it's got a very strong mezcal profile. It's smoky.
Yeah, it's like sucking on a bike tire, not a full truck tire, like you might get like with a Lagavulin Scotch or something like that. Just a small tire.
Phil has weird analogies about flavors. I'm just gonna say it, but he's usually kind of right on. But I don't know. So, but like I think if you were
like one of those tiny spot Band-Aids, if you open it up, it smells like not the full big one. It's a little Band-Aid.
That's so weird, but kind of correct. Wow. Band-Aid.
Yeah,
it's not. It's
a little Band-Aid.
See, it's these references where he's like, it's like a bicycle tire, right? And one part Campari. If you're watching the Olympics, you've watched advertisements for this because it's happening in Milan, and there's Stanley Tucci pouring beverages of Campari and drinking that straight. I'm just shooting Campari like you did as a kid in Italy.
I actually did. Right?
You did.
When I was,
you were a youth in
20.
Italy, and you thought
it looks like Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Right? Come on. All right. So far, you've got the makings of Negroni, except
except for the mezcal.
Right. Instead of the gin, you've got tequila or mezcal.
Right.
So one mezcal instead of gin. Campari is the same.
Right.
And Negroni, the third ingredient, sweet vermouth. And instead of sweet vermouth,
do our old friend Cynar.
Cynar. Which is, if you remember, we did dark Manhattan before.
That's
Instead of the sweet vermouth, we used
Cynar.
So very similar profile.
It's got a sweet profile. As Amaros go, it's got a sweet, rich flavor and texture. And it's derived from artichokes and good stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Good stuff. And then you throw in 2 dashes of orange bitters. And then if you want, this is optional, some hot pepper bitters, which I think adds a really good...
oh, yeah. Anytime you use a mezcal.
Yeah, pepper. You do a little hot pepper to it. Oh, it's like, man, you're a genius all of a sudden. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so
okay.
good.
So fun fact, there is a lost episode of the Green Architects Lounge. I think it was Greening Your Specs, but it was audio only. It was back when we had the pod, and I know that it was in March of 2020. You and I, we went in to record. You made this drink, and I remember Tanner being, you walked in and saying, have you like sanitized the mics? And he kind of laughs. He's like, wait, do you think this is that serious? Like, are we going to be that worried about this thing? Fast forward.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it turns out it's COVID.
Yeah, and it kind of that ended the Portland pod.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's right.
Anyway, but and orange twist or orange peel. There you go. Express that orange oil over your drink, and if you're really cool, you can ignite that and the orange oil, and then it even gets more smoky. But when you made it, if I remember, you had a hot sauce. You did a hot sauce rim.
Ah, you remember that.
And smoked salt.
Smoked salt.
That was super classy and really dresses up this drink. And people think you are a cocktail genius if you pull out something like that.
I was going to say nerd, but I like genius.
Genius. You're genius. Right. Anyway, so that's the cocktail. Really good. I'm happy with it. You can serve it. You can go right out of the mixer and serve it up in a coupe and just nice and cold. And that's more, booze forward. It's not going to dilute. A lot of people like that. I think this drink benefits from opening up in the ice. With the ice kind of melts, kind of dilutes it. And
don't shake. No need to shake.
You don't need to shake. You stir. No citrus. So stir or build, and there you go. I think it just opens up the flavors. Your palate can taste more that way. So it's good.
All right, so let's take a moment and thank our sponsors. They've got to say a few words here, and we appreciate them a whole bunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're champions of the cause, just like we are for building science and energy efficiency. We spec them, we use them. So listen to them, and then come back and we'll talk about house burping.
For a lot of years, we've been using True Exterior because we found it to be incredibly workable and incredibly durable, which are important characteristics for us because we want tradespeople to be able to understand materials quick so that they can do them well, and we want them to last a long time. And True Exterior is our go-to for exterior trims. But now we have some really cool siding products. So this is a 5/8 lap siding, classic kind of New England look here, and a really durable profile. It really comes together and gives you that classic New England clapboard look, lap siding look that we're all after, and an incredibly sustainable and resilient material. So these things are going to take the worst abuse that weather can deal out to them, and they're also going to hold your paints and finishes exceptionally well. So what this means is that you're going to have a very durable, long-lasting, low-maintenance cladding and trim system for your clients' projects. Check them out.
And we're back.
You
ready to burp?
Your
house?
My house. Yeah, I see what you did. I am almost ready to burp. Hopefully they'll cut that out when it happens. But so house burping.
Lüften. Did I say that right? What do you know?
What do you know? I don't know. The Germans would say Lüften.
And what is Lüften? From what I understand, is the practice of opening the windows in your house, regardless of the weather.
Yeah,
a couple times a day to let to circulate the air. You get fresh air in, you get the bad air out.
Right.
Sounds kind of on the surface pretty good.
It is, and I think there's real building science merit to that idea. Like, let's exchange the air in our house because we have a buildup of CO2. Oh, you know what? You finish that sentence. I'm going to get the CO2 monitor. Keep talking. Keep it going, Phil.
So one of the things that is interesting is that you guys remember LEED? LEED for Homes used to actually give you points, and I think they still may. I'm not 100% sure. We haven't done LEED for Homes in a while. But they used to give you points for opening and all the windows in your building. And there was a word for that in LEED, when they opened up all the windows in your building.
It was called Lüften.
And you cleaned it out. It was Lüften. There was a word for it. And you used to get points for that.
Right, for indoor air quality.
Yeah, and so it's not there's precedence. We do it. We've done it. It's kind of a nice idea. And one of the reasons they did it is because there's so many toxins in the crap that we put in our building often if you're not paying attention. So Chris has a little device he wants to show us.
Yeah, so here's a little something. I'm just going to put this out here. And for those of you who are just listening, it's a CO2 monitor. And you can pick these up, pretty much anywhere. But you'll notice this number, we're going to check in on it. It's 1,200. It's 1,277 at the moment. It's just jumping up. So fun fact, we're in the Briley small conference room, and Phil and I have already been in here a while. Mm-hmm. That should be, like if we walked in here straight out of the gate, it probably would have been 800 or something like that. Like the amount of CO2 parts per million out there, for those of you guys who are like climate change enthusiasts, we're trying to get down, the 350 would have been great. That's what 350.org. But
right.
We're you go out there, you'll probably measure like somewhere between 400 and 800 just outside at our elevation. If you get to 1,600, that's drowsy time. That's sleepy time. That's where in a classroom environment, for example, that's bad. Like you have kids who are just kind of like, oh, you just lose energy or whatever. So this CO2 environment, if you get one of these and put it in your bedroom, 2 people sleeping in a closed up room for all night.
Get a couple of mouth breathers.
Yeah.
Like myself, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's not like you're going to suffocate or anything, but there are these studies out there that it affects your health and the quality of sleep you get, which has ripple-on effects. Yeah. Same for an office or work environment. When you have a tiny conference room with 2 guys in it and the ventilation shut off because they're podcasting, that number is going to go up. We're going to check in on it when we're done here, and we're going to see, has it gone up or has it gone down?
Yeah, I think it's going to go up. That's my guess.
I think it is too. Yeah, although curious though, it's already gone down a little, and I think that's because of, I'm not going to, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is these are measurable things, and we have devices now that you can get. This is a great thing. We got this at COVID times. This was a proxy for, COVID for the big conference room. We have people in there. Once that goes into the red, once we're in the 1,500 or something like that, we're done. We call it. That's it for the meeting. It's just.
Oh yeah, you wait and you watch it.
Yeah, because what's creating that CO2? The air that's been coming out of everybody else.
Yeah.
So like you reach sort of a saturation point. So it became everyone became very aware of this during the pandemic. So
right, it's one of these things that all right, there are some side benefits to COVID. And I remember the conversation about air quality really came up at that point, right? Yeah. Because maybe it would keep you from dying, right? So then people started talking about air changes. Everyone was talking about how you have to ventilate the air. It was the only way you were going to be able to go out. And often, people who were still going into their offices, they suddenly needed to be conscious of the air changes in their offices, in their buildings, and how far you had to stay away from somebody. And people started to get educated about these things.
Right.
And those of us who have been doing this for a while kind of looked at each other smugly and said, yeah, we know. Yeah. We know.
We've been beating that drum for a while.
We've been talking about it for a while.
Right.
We've been talking about fresh air quality.
And in a house, you want how many air changes?
You want 1 air change every 3 hours. All the air in the entire house is switched out with
that amount of volume you have flushed in and out.
And then you think about something like a laboratory or something like that, and it's like more than 9 times that.
And like a classroom.
Or classrooms are like 9 times that.
Three times an
that?
hour.
Okay.
Where there's 3 times an hour. So
Right.
it is 9 times.
It is 9 times that.
Yeah. So, and when you're working out of school, I remember our first Passive House high school, that was like the biggest thing. It's like, oh my God, that is so much air volume. Basically, that you are literally throwing out of your building.
Right.
All this thing. So this is now we're going to get into our problem with this Lüften with air. With
Right. So if you want to stay healthy, you have to get all that air that you just conditioned out. Particularly if you're just opening your windows, it just literally it's like my father used to say, you know, we're going to take that dollar bill and just throw it out the window.
Yeah. You're raised in a barn?
Yeah.
You heating the outside?
Exactly.
Close the window.
Turn off the lights.
My dad doesn't sound like that. He sounds like a Harvard graduate who, open up a new museum and lecture you on something, give you insight. He was, all right, moving on. So, a fun fact. Fun fact, though.
I'd love to hear a fun fact. You're going to tell us how we're about air quality?
Well, I was going to say that 90% of us, or 100% of us, spend 90% of our time. Maybe not 90%. 90% of us we spend 90% of our time indoors, the average American.
Okay.
Think about that. Like 90% of our time is indoors because we sleep indoors usually. So that's a good 50% right there.
Yeah.
And then we work, most of us, indoors.
Inside,
and then we go out and have fun in restaurants and stuff. It's like we think we're outdoorsy, but we're really not. And usually those toxin levels, VOCs, which we'll get to, CO2, all these things that are not, good for you, are magnified by 2 to 5 times inside. So like the VOCs inside, 2 to 5 times higher. So
so we have to pay attention to this.
Also, I'm going to do an update on the CO2. It's gone down so much. It's like at 925.
Do you think it's the cocktails?
You know what? It must be. These cocktails reduce toxins in the air. So
I feel like I'm breathing a little less.
Highly recommend the Scorched Earth approach to your cocktail drinking. No, but I think the reason I'm pulling that out is because I think it's something with turning it on, booting it up. It's recalibrating, and so now we're at 9.
So let's talk about being inside all the time now, right? Like one of the things we do know, particularly if you have an older home, is that there's just a lot of crap in our houses.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are unhealthy. There's a ton of toxins, particularly with new homes and the stuff that we don't know that are like in our carpets, in our paints. And we're knowing a little bit more what's in our paints.
Yep.
All the materials that are around us, the finishes, the stuff that's coating your wood floor. Like if you didn't have somebody paying attention to it, what do you think they put on your wood floor, Chris?
I think they put some polyurethane
That's
on
right.
there. And I think if it's oil-based, it's going to have tons of VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds.
That's right.
And just because they're organic doesn't mean they're good for you. Like, just letting you know.
That's a really good. I never put the 2 and 2
Yeah,
together.
I know. Well, they are. These compounds are found in nature, and they are. Formaldehyde being one of them. Like formaldehyde's a huge.
You don't go to Whole Foods and get a bunch of volatile organic bananas.
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
Yeah, the organic
just
bananas.
the organic.
Where are your volatile organic bananas?
That's right. Top shelf.
Yeah. Probably bottom.
Probably bottom. Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah.
Gross. Anyway, so like I was about to say, formaldehyde. That's a natural occurring chemical that's out there that is used as a glue. Basically, it's used as a preservative and a glue, and so it was great stuff. And in all of our OSB and plywoods and everything that's a wood fiber that's compressed and glued together traditionally would have formaldehyde in it. It wasn't, and so like thank you LEED for shining a huge spotlight on it back in the day and getting awareness about that. And so like now you can have there's Title VI compliance. We went through that in specs. I think we've had indoor air quality podcasts in the past, but we're kind of rehashing some of this stuff because house burping people. So let's.
Right. There's nothing really new that we're going to tell you today. We're just talking specifically about why house burping is has good and bad.
Right. So the good is it's doing exactly what you want, and that's exchanging the air. It's bad because it's doing it in the least efficient way possible. It's a giant hole. You're throwing out all the heat and energy that you put into your house and building, and you're just exchanging it with what's outside on a morning like today, for example, at 8 degrees Fahrenheit here in Maine. That's going to have a dramatic effect.
Right. That was an unfortunate burp if you took it today.
Yeah. Speaking of unfortunate, I got a cough. Sorry. And I'm back. Yeah. So I always like to say that a healthy house leaks, an energy efficient house controls how it leaks. Mm-hmm. So the idea of exchanging the air in your house is great, but let's do it in a building science smart way, and that's using an ERV, an energy recovery ventilator,
or an HRV,
which is a heat
recovery ventilator.
But in your cold climate, almost 100% of the time it's gonna be ERV. Yeah. But there are moments, you talk to Aston Bales, talk to these other guys. Yeah, they'll throw an HRV in there maybe for special occasions. But
right, and so just a quick primer on that. So you have your conditioned air, but you bring in fresh air from the outside, and instead of just throwing out all that conditioned air, so it's gone and dumping it outside, it mixes with the air from the exterior.
Well, it doesn't mix. It
thank you. It
crosses paths. Imagine
it transfers the heat from one to the other. Imagine, it doesn't literally mix.
Yeah, imagine a big filter that is sort of like crisscross of straws. Right? So like the outgoing air warms the incoming air if it's cold outside.
Yeah, and I think it's literally like, I always think about it sort of this crisscross
because most
like
cores are
mesh.
They are like that. And so the heat recovery ventilator, like imagine that filter being metal and there's no moisture transfer between the two. Right. And for an ERV, imagine that core being like a Tyvek or a polyolefin of some kind, so that water vapor, the vapor molecule can go through, but still everything else is filtered out. So ERVs are now at a point where they can be up to 90% efficient, or at least 80%, up to 90, even more, and for the fancy Zenders and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you think about that, you're hanging on to 90% of that heat and enthalpy that you put into that air when you're exchanging it outside. So instead of bringing in 8-degree air, it crosses this and you hang on to that heat, and you're bringing in, I don't know the real number, but let's say it's 57-degree air. Right. It's cool, but it's not 8 degrees. So what you want, if you want that, one air change every 3 hours, that means you have this thing running continuously, and you're bringing fresh air in, you're filtering it through a MERV 13 air filter, and you're exchanging it, and you're putting it in all the bedrooms and living spaces, and you're exhausting it out of all the bathrooms and, kitchen and bathroom and laundry and other places where the air is solid.
So it's a complex but very efficient burp.
Exactly. So this house burping idea, that's great in old-timey times, but this is modern day, people, and you guys are building science enthusiasts. You use ERVs. Okay, but what, Phil, if your house is already old?
Right. Yeah. This is a really good question, right? Like, There's some people out there who, probably the majority of folks don't live in a new house.
Right.
So you got a house that you're pretty sure is got some nasty toxins or mold or something like that. Well, you can get that tested. You probably should. Like, if there's something is in there that's making you feel not good, get it tested, either for mold or VOCs or toxins. There's services out there who do that. And now that Chris, I don't know if we're jumping ahead to the 6-digit idea, or is the
sure, go for it.
It's not the 6-digit idea. It's the
pet product.
Pet product.
Yeah.
And Chris taught me about a pet product, which is pretty darn cool. So we're jumping ahead.
It's called Air Things. You can go to maybe they should be a sponsor. Hey, Air Things, we're gonna talk to you. You should be a sponsor because we use you. But Air Things is like like you have to test for radon. In the old times, you would, you'd get a kit, you'd put it in your basement, you'd open up the lid, you'd wait 30 days, and then you'd seal up the kit and you'd mail it away and wait for your results and see how it goes. Well, now you have like a live radon monitor. You put it. You still have to. You should wait for 30 days just to get a good average of, because radon fluctuates. This AirThings monitor, you can get the different monitors, so you can get humidity, temperature, radon, VOCs, which are So if you find yourself, if you worry about sick building syndrome, that's like, if you're in an environment where there's particulates, molds, toxins, things like that, and you're like, is it me? Why is it every time I go into this building, I feel like crap when I leave? Headaches, just low energy, whatever. Sometimes it's lack of CO2. Sometimes it is high VOCs. It could be any other number of things. But this fresh ventilation, having an ERV, having a way to flush that air and monitor it, that's building science, people. And that's better than just opening a window and saying, yeah, that's better. It's fresh.
And it's really smart to know what is in your house is making you sick if you're feeling crummy. So this is one way to measure it. Obviously, you want to get smart about your materials choices.
Right.
And we've talked about this before. Like, where do you go to find out more information about materials choices? Like, I think it's much harder, Chris, to look in your house and look around and say, well, I don't know, what carpet do we use? What was on these floors? It's
right. Especially if it's a house that you've
just inherited and you've moved into.
And you have no idea.
Wild ass guesses half the time.
Right.
But we now have a lot more information at our fingertips. If we want to design and build a new house,
right,
we can do the research to find out how much VOC is in a product, whether it's nasty, whether it's more toxic, or whether it's pretty good for you.
Right, because you're bringing these into your indoor environment. You're sleeping with them. You are living your lives. You're eating and dining and living with these products. And it's insane how the industry does not care about your health. I've said that before. They will invent a product. If it sells, they will shove it into your house.
And you've had issues with this, right? I mean,
me? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So share with us a little bit of
what you right. Okay, so I am a migraine sufferer. Oh, first, can I do a quick PSA? It has nothing to do with building science. Hey, migraine sufferers, try lisinopril with an L, L-I-S, lisinopril. I'm not shilling it or anything, but it helped me because, if you're like me and you suffer from migraines, everyone has a
blood
remedy.
Pressure medicine.
Yes, so thank you. Lisinopril is a blood pressure medicine, and it turns out that it also works in the blood vessels and the meninges of your brain. I won't get into that. All right, we'll go back into. So if you suffer from migraines, check out lisinopril because it changed my life. All the other stuff didn't, but.
Lisinopril, I had a bad reaction to.
Did you?
And I couldn't stop coughing for about 3 months. Some people have that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But if I had headaches, I might have chosen to cough.
So anyway, because I suffer from migraines, there are all kinds of things that trigger, that are triggers for migraines. One of which is odors, smells, and chemicals like that. I'm super, super, super sensitive to some of them. Yeah. And some of them, which is weird, perfumes, for example. So I don't understand people who actually put cologne on themselves and make themselves want that. I guess if I lived a different life, if I didn't have these problems, I'd have a different attitude and be like, oh, this smells awesome. That's what I want to smell like. But just know if that's you, if I just described you, you're walking out into a world where there are people like me who now hate you for sitting in front of them at a theater. And my God, it's like a countdown to a migraine, or I got to get out of there or do something else. And so these people who are like me and others who are even more sensitive, I think they are the canaries in the coal mine for all these issues.
That's right. And they actually call them canaries.
Right. I have a client,
that's a term.
Habitat for Canaries. Look those people up. They were clients of mine. And Lindsay, I think I can give her a shout out. She suffers from CMS, she's very, very sensitive to it, and like no joke sensitive, like has almost died, like from being too close to a truck that passes by or something like that. And
that's pretty awful.
And when you're chemically sensitive, it's really hard to get back to a baseline that from which you can figure out what are your chemicals that are getting you and to get that health back. Anyway, so they are creating a place, Habitat for Canaries, where these other canaries who are seeking help can go learn about all this stuff, but also get to that baseline and get away from toxins and all that stuff. So anyway, shout out to Habitat for Canaries. Where was I in my story?
You're getting migraines?
I'm getting my right. So like there are different chemicals, and they are everywhere, like shampoos and soaps and detergents and deodorants and just these personal products that some of them knock me out. If I hang out, you're lovely. You don't have any of that stuff. But there are some people like will come in with some Axe body spray, dude.
That's a hard conversation, right?
That is a really hard conversation to have, especially if you work with such a person or something. But not that I'm going.
Voice experience.
Yeah. But we're off topic just a little bit. But what we're saying is So let me bring it back to buildings. So 6classes.org is a great website to go to because if you're the layperson, you're like, well, what chemicals am I avoiding? You can go there and you can learn about these chemicals that make their way into all of our products, and you come away
like PFAS. Like PFAS has been a lot in the news, particularly around here recently.
Yeah,
it's been really damaging to a lot of farms and farmers that really have destroyed all their crops for the future.
Right.
And
they're fluorocarbons. Those are and if you ask yourself the question, like, is it waterproof, stain-proof, or non-stick? The most famous, PFAS material, it's like your non-stick plates or pans, that you're frying with.
And waterproof stuff,
yeah,
probably has PFAS in it, very likely.
Exactly right. So PFAS, antimicrobials, right?
The flame retardants.
Flame retardants are a huge one. Like if you're buying are you shopping for a piece of furniture right now? Are you shopping for a couch? Check to see if it has flame retardants in it. If it does, go ahead, buy the same couch, but request no flame retardants. Because this was back in the day when people were falling asleep with their cigarettes and lighting themselves on fire. That if that's not you, I think you're okay not having fluorocarbons and your couch sprayed down with toxins.
Right. You're fine not having a flame retardant couch.
Exactly.
Chris is saying.
Phil, have you heard of this book called Pretty Good House?
Tell us about the Pretty Good House.
I'll tell you what.
Authors.
I'll tell you what. On page
this guy.
On page 166 and 167, we take the same approach as 6classes.org and just say
you list them all.
Pretty much, and just say
PFAS, antimicrobials, flame retardants.
Yeah, bisphenols and phthalates, which are
solvents and some metals.
Solvents. Yeah. So like bisphenols and phthalates, if there's a plastic that needs to be hard, it probably has bisphenols in it. If there's a plastic that needs to be soft and pliable, it probably has phthalates in it.
Right. You're like your Nalgene water bottle, typically that most people drink out of, has phthalates.
There were a lot of baby products that had BPAs.
Phthalates.
Yeah, and
but phthalates.
How do you pronounce it? Phthalates. I need to spit on me. No, I'm kidding. And then solvents, of course, that's like paints. If there's something that is a liquid and has to become a solid and hard, you think of paints, you think of coatings, then it probably has some kind of solvent in it. And that's what, will give you the VOCs, the volatile organic compounds. So anyway, the great strategy is to just try to avoid them. Like how much is there? What's the right amount of that? Avoid. If you can avoid as much as possible. And trigger words are, is it waterproof? Is it antimicrobial? Is it non-stick?
Flame retardant.
Flame retardant.
What else?
Yeah,
those are pretty good.
Yeah. Ask yourself, well, is there a better product that is naturally one of those things that I could use instead of this thing that needs these chemicals that make them that way? That's a good trendy.
Right. And guess what? If you have better stuff in your house, fewer toxins, then you have to open your windows less often.
That's right. And so if you have an ERV going,
You'll have to do it.
You know, yeah. Then Lüften is adorable. It's old-timey German know-how.
Yeah.
And the TikTok people, you know.
It was Lüften. What was the one before that? Hege?
I have in notes. There's Querlüften, which is cross ventilation.
Querlüften.
So Lüften's ventilation. Querlüften is cross ventilation, which of course you get better.
And there's like Schocklüften.
Stoßlüften.
Stoßlüften,
which is
the shock of freezing air as you ventilate in the winter.
right, which is good for you. Good for you, says the German.
Yeah.
So you good shock of cold air is good for you. And
I think we've exhausted this.
I see what you
I
did
think
there. We totally exhausted. Did you do that on purpose?
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought you were brilliant.
I did.
I was like,
did.
I am the presence of
did.
comic genius. No. So there you go. So you want three air changes per hour or 18 CFM per person is another great way to think about it. And you want to ventilate.
That doesn't mean anything to me.
It's just a little bit of air. It's a little bit of air. And then, I think we've exhausted this topic. So
Next time, I look forward to a fresh topic.
very good.
Yeah.
Keep going. See if you got another.
That's it. I'm done.
Okay. So all right, that's it. Let's just wrap this one up. This has been the Green Architects Lounge with Chris and Phil. You can email us at thegreenarchitectslounge@gmail.com. Do all those things that you do on social, even though we're not on social that much, but follow, like, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching this.
Mix yourself a scorched earth.
Yeah.
It will not disappoint.
Do yourself a favor. Get these three. You know what? These three ingredients are good mixer ingredients. You're going to use that Campari again. You're going to use that Cynar again, and you will definitely use the Mezcal again. So let's do this.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, buddy.